0. Okay, video game texturing. Alright, texture for video game, you guys, is one thing that is a couple rules. Just like we'd seen the rules last week for mesh, automate your mesh, and no holes, seamless, working quad, strongly at the end, clean up your mesh, you know the whole thing now. Okay, no fibers and so forth. Okay, we have similar rules, you guys, actually, for when we do video game texturing. Let me get the notepad out quickly.
Fibers?
What?
What was that about fibers? I don't remember that.
No, we do not want any polygon that is more than 4 edges and 4 vertices. So that means if you have 5 vertices and 5 edges, you need to cut it in half. Okay? So, video game texturing. Let me make it slightly bigger. Just like I said, it requires a couple things, you guys, to ensure that it works in a game engine. Okay? Now, the main one and the first one rule is it needs to be able to be displayed in a game engine. Do you think there is any specification of game engines in computers that forces you to do certain things for your formatting of your texture? In size, for example. Is there anything you guys that makes it works or not work? Power of 2 is the main thing. The texture needs to be a power of 2. Alright? It needs to be a power of 2, which could be a rectangle power, a square power of 2, 512 by 512, for example, or a rectangle power of 2, 1024 by 512, for example.
This goes for every polygon individually?
No, that goes for texture. Listen to what I'm saying. We're talking texture now. Okay, not polygons. Every texture file needs to be a power of 2 or it's not displayed. Why? Yes?
It has to have bitmaps generated for it, for instance. Like the engine, it's like you were saying, when it tries to read a polygon mesh and it's not configured correctly, it's not going to be able to, the engine.
Right, but why? The reason is, in reality, the graphic card. Because the graphic card uses memories, RAMs that are power of 2, to be able to display it in real time, because the 3D is going to be rendered in real time using OpenGL or DirectX. Okay? To be able to do that on the fly using OpenGL or DirectX, your texture needs to be a power of 2 or it doesn't work at all.
So it's hardware?
Yes, it's hardware based, exactly. It's hardware and software based, actually, exactly. That's the main reason. So, that's the #1 rule for video game. Now, number 2 rules. Can someone has an idea what would be another rule in that situation?
Limited amount of colors.
No, not anymore. We can do pretty much whatever we want now in colors. Okay, you guys? What else? You can have only 1 map per channel. So it's 1 map per channel. What does it mean? It means that if you have a color map, which we'll talk about it, you can have only 1 map. You cannot have multiple maps for that same part. Okay? The engine doesn't understand that. You understand only single maps per channel. Okay? And we'll talk about channels after. We're talking about rules now. Now, number 3, we are going to talk about another rule, okay, which is a little, you're not going to understand for now, but you will in a couple of minutes. It needs to be, you need to UV map your mesh, and it needs to be unwrapped into a zone called 0 to 1. So the UV unwrap needs to be in 0 to 1 zone. Alright? Or it is not seen by the game engine either. Okay? It just doesn't see it. Okay, you guys? Now, those are the main rules, you guys, that you have for your stuff. Now, obviously, you need to have the proper format that the engine uses. If it's JPEG, PNG, all right? But that's more for the engine. Those are the ones that if you don't do that, it doesn't even work, basically. Doesn't get much deeper than that. All right? Everybody understand that? Any questions? Questions? So that's very important, you guys. Okay, let me stop that.